Are you flipping the rage bait on me?
What is that existence? Responding to chuds. I love doing it.
Let's go with the dog against the dogs.
Alabama.
When I had a choice to pick a co-host.
I know.
Oh, you're betting on the game. Why would you be doing that? Because it's fun. Welcome back to Geek'd Up, presented by the Sports Geek, Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. We are here to talk favorite bets for the middle of the week. We're also going to discuss some NFL headlines, some of our thoughts on which teams we think need to kill it this offseason. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the Genesis Invitational. I'm going to start getting into some golf betting here on the show. Make sure you subscribe and you hit that like button. What are you shaking?
Bro takes one golf trip, and now we know we're picking top 20 favorites and long shots.
God. I hate that, like, that's your bit coming out of this. I'm trying to cover all the things that are happening. But you got any topic pitches? No, go ahead, Sean. Pitch them. I'm waiting. No, go ahead. Yeah. I build a rundown every time. Pitch me a topic. I'm waiting.
I just want to see if your strong golf game translates to some winners.
I hate you. You're a bad person.
I like my picks, actually. I like golf bets.
I hope all these guys don't make the cut.
That's crazy.
Every single one of them that you put down here.
They both will. They both will, by the way.
Really creative picks that you went with.
Oh, I'm sure. Hey, Chalky Joe over here in the golf.
There's nothing chalky about that. These are ball knower picks.
Okay.
Ball knower picks. All right. Let's start with some NFL news before we do get into betting. NFL offseason is going to pick up some steam here very soon. NFL Combines next week, which means there's plenty of opportunities for rumors to start to swirl, for trades, for free agent signings. So much is going to come out of Indianapolis. I wanted to set the table before that happens by discussing two teams each that we think need to have great offseasons, teams that need to do everything possible to either set themselves up for success, to go on a Super Bowl run, or just to go on a run in the playoffs. Or the other way of framing this are teams that maybe have been struggling and need to really prove that they're on the right track. I'm going to start us off here. I think that there is no more prove-it team than the Carolina Panthers for this upcoming year for multiple reasons. If we just look at it purely for Bryce Young, who finished the year with a great game in the playoffs against the Rams, but had a super up and down 2025 with the speculation on, is he the guy for the future? Is he the guy to build around? This offseason needs to set him up by developing a supporting cast that he is going to be able to use to succeed. I also think that when you're going into year 3, Canales has shown that he is setting this team up for success. But if they fall short and they start to show that they're struggling, maybe ownership rethinks if he is the right man for the job. The third year for any head coach, I think, is the most important for establishing momentum towards becoming a consistently winning team. Just looking ahead to what they have on the table for free agency, they have $12 million in cap space, the 19th most cap space. The only two guys that were really notable that I think that they would consider re-signing, bringing back Cade Mays is super important. Maybe bring back Rico Dowdle. I don't think that you need to, depending on the asking price. But overall, Panthers need to crush the draft and free agency.
It's a huge testament pulling yourself up out of the cellar, which they did. Congrats. You used to be a total embarrassment team, Carolina, and now you have a little bit of respect. Oh, you made the playoffs. Made the playoffs when no one has expected you to. That's great. That's great. It's a good story. It's a good story, but it's only a story if it happens one year. And if you let it falter and go away, we're all just going to be sitting here. Remember that one year when Carolina made it with Bryce Young? That was weird. Then you're a trivia question. You don't want to be that. You want to be a consistent winner. Carolina definitely has the pressure on them. Similarly, Joseph, my first team that must win the offseason, the Washington Commanders. They are in a desperate must-need situation. One, new money fans have to be appeased because they were so bad for so long. They had 1 year with a phenomenal rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, and then everybody thought that they deserved the Super Bowl and everything that comes with being a Super Bowl champion. You went to a championship game, that's great. You had a terrible year last year. Dog awful year last year. Now, new money fans calling for the head of Dan Quinn. Mistake. But It's a relentless group that needs to be appeased. They weren't given a proper team last year. Top to bottom, they weren't. It was an old team. I knew it. They didn't know it. They didn't know that this year wasn't going to be good. I did. It was too old of a team. So you got to get younger. They need severe help at the running back room, unless you think Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt is going to be like the guy next year. No, he's
great, good second running back.
He's a running back too that can catch it out of the backfield and with a little shake. That's really good to have a guy like that on the team. You need a real running back one. You also are desperately in need of wide receiver and tight end help. The fat Debo experiment didn't work. Zach Ertz, old and got his knee obliterated in like the last week of the season from a Marcus Mariota hospital ball. So Jaden Daniels needs help. It can't just be Terry and the cast-offs. Second best receiver in the room is Luke McCaffrey after Debo, if they were to re-sign him, which I don't expect them to. Also, they need a defensive back terribly. So they need help huge. They need to take 3 big swings and hit on 2 of them. They get back in the playoffs if they hit on 2 of them. That's get a good running back, get a good wide receiver, get a good defensive back. If you only hit on 1 of the 3, you're in serious trouble again.
I agree with this because the big issue that they stepped into is they had a lot of old players that helped them go on the run that they did in 2024. They need to get as young as possible, I think, at a lot of positions. The draft is the key for them reaching their potential. I know that a lot of people want them to look to defense, but Jeremiah Love's on the board.
How could you imagine?
When they're picking, I think that him in Washington would be unbelievable.
Good cut up today.
We'll see. Well, I wasn't posting one.
Yesterday.
It was one clip I posted.
Oh, it was nice.
I could cut clips of him for hours.
I think he's got hours worth of clips that I would watch.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
He is an unbelievable player. So I like the idea of maybe them going and getting Jeremiah Love. That would be super intriguing. Next team I want to bring up here, Cincinnati Bengals. There is other team that's just a complete and utter no-brainer. Zach Taylor on his last legs. A lot of people thought he was going to get fired. What can Al Golden do? How much can this defense get fixed? Here's the big thing. They have $53 million of cap space, the 7th most cap space of teams entering free agency. That means they're going to be able to, if they choose to, spend some money. They need to add athletes to their defense now. I can't imagine that they're going to bring back Trey Hendrickson. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. That would open up a lot of space for them to go spend some money on some veteran type players that will round out a group that was young, very disorganized, inconsistent, and a complete and utter mess. The other free agents that are on the table, Joseph Asai, who's been a solid player, Cam Taylor-Britt, who's been a solid player, Geno Stone, who's been okay, and Noah Fant. Can't imagine many of those guys might be returning, as they'd probably be looking for capable upgrades. But you have to rebuild this defense in free agency. You have to rebuild this defense in the draft. They cannot continue to piddle around and expect the same results by being cheap. They need to spend as much money as possible. Otherwise, Taylor will be going elsewhere, and they will be hiring a new head coach at the end of the season.
Yeah, huge, massive year. Mondo even year for the Bengals. We're expecting a more down Steelers team with Mike McCarthy in year 1. Cincinnati, you cannot place lower in your division than Pittsburgh next year. There is literally no excuse. You are outclassing them at just about every mattered field on offense, in a talent gap that is immeasurable at quarterback. It's a playoff season or bust. And even if they make the playoffs, if they stink it up in the first week of the playoffs, wild card round, and get exposed or something, I think Taylor's still out, by the way. I really do. There's too much talent between the quarterback and the wide receivers to fall flat again. Yeah, Bengals need to get right badly. Pressure's on for my second team. The Baltimore Ravens need to get right. They need to make right decisions, especially with free agents. The draft, I'm going to treat them a little more gently because they draft so well. I'm not going to put myself in the position telling the Baltimore Ravens who to draft, when to draft them. They knock it out of the park every year. Does it convert to playoff wins? Not really. That's the confusing part. Why isn't it? Because I don't think they're signing the right impact free agents. I don't think they're doing what Washington did or what Seattle did this year, which is finding the right veterans to add to your team on the cheap. They also desperately need to re-sign Tyler Linderbaum at center. I am passionate about
I hope
this.
that he doesn't.
Dude.
I'm praying that he enters the market and the Giants can go get him.
Everybody wants this guy. He's a top 3 center in the NFL, and the NFL is getting scarcer and scarcer at quality centers. This is a dude that you pay your entire the $22 million a cap. His expected whatever annual would be $17 million. Do it. Give him $17 million a year and figure it out. Looking at their free agent list, Vermont Jones, gone. DeAndre Hopkins, gone. Kyle Van Noy, gone. Ardarius Washington, gone. Everyone, clear out. Clear out. We got to pay the big fella up front because he's the only one keeping us together and telling Daniel Falele the plays. All right? You need to keep this guy. It is paramount to you making the playoffs and winning a playoff game to re-sign Tyler Linderbaum. Give him all the money. Give all the money to Tyler Linderbaum because Lamar isn't getting pressured up the middle. It is not on his account. Additionally, narrative side of things, it's time for Lamar to do something. It really is. The MVPs are great. He's established himself as probably a top 50 quarterback of all time, I would say, just in everything he's been able to do. But it's time to actually do something, Baltimore. Again, Pittsburgh's weaker. Joe just broke down Cincinnati being a generational possible disappointment.
Why did you talk to me like that? That was one of the weirdest things that you've ever you did.
I kind of did a point and a look away. I wasn't.
Joe just put. Is there a third person in the room? I am just so.
I'm
blown away by that. What you just did.
I'm trying to do some.
Joe just broke that. How about you you're having a conversation with me. You're having a conversation with me. We're not presenting ourselves to a room.
Oh, I was.
What?
I was presenting myself to the listener there.
I don't think you've ever pulled off a worse move on a show that I've done with you. That is the weirdest thing that you've ever done.
Gosh.
And the problem is it was almost too professional. Normally, any unprofessionalism that happens with the two of us, I don't care. That was almost like too normal of a thing to say.
That pinpoint broadcasting was too
normal, but also awkward.
You know what? Fine. I need a bell for when I get out of control, which means doing.
I need a big long hammer
when I'm actually doing some on a tear there.
Like,
nice
whippy hammers that I can just bonk you on the head with.
I don't think I was even running with a bunch of verbal fillers there either. I mean, you just clipped me at the knees.
Don't say weird shit.
That was okay.
That was weird.
I didn't expect that to be
that really caught me off guard. Weird. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know what I was saying anymore.
Here's the only thing, Sean. I think that if I had to argue which of these teams I think is the least make or break, I think it is kind of the Ravens. I get it. They need to improve their pass rush. You can't lose Linderbaum. But you are also entering the first year for Jesse Minter. I can't imagine that they're really going to struggle this year. But they might go the cheap route and try to build through the draft again.
Like year 8 of Lamar, though. Okay, it's time. It's time, or else we're gonna have to start comparing him to some other quarterbacks, which he has not been compared to before. Phillip Rivers, how about that? You want to be comped to him?
It's a weird image to compare him to.
I agree.
Two very different athletes.
He never did anything though.
It's a fair point. I will be interesting to see which of these teams does end up succeeding and having a really good offseason. Of course, there is, if you could timestamp me, by the way, of course, there's one team that I just mentioned that is choosing to have a very awkward operation with a specific player. The Bengals have tormented Trey Hendrickson for the longest time. They have kept him around. They have not let him test the free agent market. They have also refused to pay him what he's worth, despite being one of the most productive pass rushers in the NFL over the last 3 seasons. He's up there with Myles Garrett and TJ Watt in terms of production. This past year, he got hurt, and if it wasn't for that, he would still be considered to be a top pass rusher in the league. Well, today it came out, per Kelsey Conway of the Cincinnati Enquirer, that nothing is off the table for Trey Hendrickson regarding potentially using a franchise tag on Hendrickson. The irony of this is that he finally is a free agent. He is finally having the opportunity to test the market and to walk off onto a better opportunity with a contending team where there is an opportunity to actually get paid what he's worth. Yet here we are, and the Bengals are considering torturing this poor man. A full quote from Conway on the Enquirer. The Enquirer spoke to a high-ranking NFL personnel executive for another team who said that if a team is willing to pick up something, is willing to give up something to the Bengals, it would likely be no higher than a 3rd-round pick. He added that this year's free agent class at the defensive end position could end up being strong. So what this tells me is that we're stepping into a circumstance, Sean, where they think that they're going to get a 1st-round pick for him again. They're going to tag him. They're going to start shopping him around. Nobody is going to offer them what they're looking for. They're going to try and get him to play on a 1-year deal again, and they're going to continue to torture him. This is one of the most awful things that has happened to a player with the team's operation in recent memory, and I can't believe that they're going to continue to do it once again.
I can't believe we're doing the Hendrickson saga again.
I thought that this was done.
We spent months last offseason breaking down what they should do, telling Hendrickson he needs to get out, take a stand. I don't know why he ever came back. I don't. He should have just eaten all the money that he would have made last year and just said, I'm not doing this with you guys. Because look where he's at. The same exact spot. I don't think the NFL knows what they want to do with B-plus players. Like, the only comparable contract implosion saga that I can recall is Kirk Cousins with Washington, where it was all the tags. You kept on getting tagged. And if they had just paid him a contract the first year he was due for a contract, they would have saved a ton of money on him. They would have preserved the relationship. And then he would have played there for 4 or 5, 6 years, maybe.
Right.
Instead, he played mediocrely and unsuredly for 2 years and then ended up at Minnesota where he played pretty well. They're doing the same thing to Hendrickson. And it's like they're aware of our age 31, 32 theory with these defensive linemen. I don't know if you can't do that, man. You let him go. Good God. Have some humanity.
I understand the business side of this, of trying to get a return for a guy who theoretically could be valuable. Just try to get something out of him. Trying to get that 3rd-round pick for a team that wants to give him a big contract extension. I just don't have faith that they're going to handle this in good faith, that it is going to be the best possible outcome for Hendrickson. This is what is appalling with all this, is as you just said here. We went through this saga already. He finally has the chance to just go do his own thing, go to a new team, produce for another team.
The juice is in the glass.
Get the last contract that he's been looking to end his career. Get that ridiculous payday that pass rushers of his caliber are seeking out. But it seems like they're just going to tag him again, and they're going to be dumbfounded by the fact that there's just no options and nobody is actually that excited about offering him a big deal.
You know what? Maybe it's Hendrickson's fault. Maybe I'll turn on him. Maybe he should have been better, or he should have been worse this year. But he's
why?
Just,
how could it be his
he
fault?
Just lands himself in this position of being a guy that no team is like, oh my God, I got to get Trey Hendrickson. And also a guy that's like, you know, maybe we can get him on the cheap and then he'll surprise us. He's just good enough to be on the tag watch for Cincinnati. He should have tanked this. He should have mailed it in.
Well, he was hurt. He was barely played. I think he had double check. I'm not going to pull up his stats, but he was hurt. He missed significant time this year, which was kind of part of the whole issue with Hendrickson. Is
he hurt again?
If you get stuck on a 1-year deal and you get hurt, you're losing out of potential value. And I wonder if that impacts what a team is willing to pay him this offseason. I'm just praying that Cincinnati decides, you know what, we're not going to be total POSs like we've done with so many players before. We're just going to let the guy leave. Unless you're going to give him a 4 or 5 year, whatever, the big contract and reward him for all the suffering you've put him through. Just let the damn guy go. Just let him go.
He should claim anxiety all year. I'm sorry, coach, I can't play. And then sign with the Eagles and say, I'm a menace. I was lying to them. Honestly, Howie, I'm ready. All right. All this nonsense with Cincy, way behind me. I'm ready to get 10 sacks for you. And he would. And he would. Go ahead. Win the Eagles the Super Bowl, Mr. Hendrickson. I'd like to see it.
All right, moving on over to, we're delivering our college basketball bets. We're changing up the way that we're doing this. We're going to give, when we do the Tuesday shows, we're going to give out our bets for Wednesday in order to have a little bit of a carryover time for when these picks are out. So we're not delivering a pick an hour before. So there's actually a little bit of a shelf life here. Why did you write down 2 picks? We're just doing 1.
I swear to God, I thought you wrote down 2 picks. Oh, yeah. Let me get this one out of here.
Yeah, take that out of there.
Get that one out.
Sean is 2-4 on college basketball bets.
That
Joe
can't
is
be true.
3-3. Both your picks didn't hit last week. You know what did hit is Miami of Ohio, what you clowned on. St. Peter's completely screwed me against Sacred Heart. Screw St. Peter's. They're now on my S list. I now don't like St. Peter's, despite them being a covering wagon. Stephen F. Austin keeps connecting for me, by the way, and I'm going to continue to bet on Stephen F. Austin. I've got a Stephen F. Austin bet tonight. I've got a Fresno State bet tonight because they're also a wagon. You got to grab these mid-major programs that nobody's talking about, Sean. You got to listen to me.
If I had any ability to do a Boston accent, we have our new show character, which is Stephen F. Boston, a dirtbag that just bets on mid-majors. He gets
way,
hammered on balloons, man.
We didn't talk about the Boston trip, by the way. We won't. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, but I'm just going to throw in there the people of the Sports Geek that were with me agree on this.
Yeah,
the amount of bars that were doing karaoke the night that we went out, very frigid night, was disturbing. It was every bar that we walked into was doing karaoke on a Saturday night. Is that a bit that I don't know?
I tell you what,
is that something I have not been? Did I not get the memo? That should be on my plane ticket. That should be on. Like, hey, warning!
You didn't want to go up there and sing and do some karaoke?
Warning! No, I don't. Yeah, what's the one that they sing at the Red Sox games? Is
Sweet Caroline?
Sweet Caroline? Yeah. Is it just because of that everyone's like, oh, we want to sing everywhere we go?
Stephen F. Boston will be belting it out.
Yeah, probably after dishing out a Fresno State pick. All right, I'm gonna give mine.
It ain't Boise. He better not be dishing out Boise because they will lose on short term. God, I had a terrible week. You know what? I don't even know why I opened this asking how is that possible.
Wait, who did you take? So
I took Duke, Michigan, which plays in a week still. A week from now.
No. Who did you take? No, they play this Saturday. Who did you take yesterday that you and I were texting this morning? Did you take Iowa State?
Yeah, I took Iowa State.
I went 5-0 yesterday, so we're fired up with how we're doing right now. The bet that I am taking tomorrow night on Wednesday night, Arkansas versus Alabama. We're going to go Arkansas plus 4.5. Arkansas in their last 10, they are 6-4, while Alabama is 4-6. Arkansas is also on a 3-game cover streak as well as a 3-game winning streak against Auburn, LSU, and Mississippi State. Now, I'm a little wary because this game is on the road, but I think that Arkansas is going to be able to deliver a close battle. Not to mention the fact I feel as though Alabama could be pretty deflated coming up with them losing Charles Bediako. It hasn't been very long, but I do wonder coming in, and it's not like he was their best player, highest scorer.
Yeah.
But that situation still remains to be seen how it's going to affect them. I feel as though there's an opportunity here for Arkansas, their biggest challenge since losing him, to really test them.
Nice. I hope Arkansas loses by 30. Not because it's your pick, not because it's your pick, but because of the mega fade and on the showdown, the Saturday showdown at 8th Street, where I took Arkansas and they rooted me.
Just don't have awful bets.
Okay. You know what?
What awful bet are you taking?
That's sound advice, actually. I am taking St. John's. St. John's giving 10.5 versus Marquette. I actually took out the non-chalk pick for today, and I'm going right back to the chalk. I can't get enough. Please. Are you lining a baseball diamond? What are you doing that with? Chalk? I'll do that. I'll take over there. I will feed me that. Marquette, terrible this year, 8-17 and 1 against the spread. St. John's, not great. I'm not sitting here saying the Johnnies are on fire, but they're doing okay. 14-9-1 against the spread. They got some length. They play with their forwards a lot. I love it. Zuby Ejiofor. There we go. And Bryce Hopkins.
I think it's Ejiofor.
Ejiofor and Hopkins are simultaneously the man when the one of them isn't being the man. So they got multiple dudes that can go and take over a game. Patino, defense forward. Marquette, they got nobody. Dead fish versus hot team in New York. And I think I'm ready to say there's some type of symbiotic relationship between the Knicks being good and St. John's being good, and there being a culture of basketball in the city that is reinvigorated and makes both programs want to win. I think the St. John's is riding the Knicks high and vice versa. So 10.5 don't scare me.
By the way, we should go to, just a random side note, we should go to they don't have, St. John's doesn't have any like crazy exciting games coming up that are at Madison Square Garden. We should go to one of the Big East tournament games because we're right here. We should remember to do that. We could maybe do a little content around that, but that's a separate. Alonzo pointed out he was with us obviously on the trip. I think I'm allowed to say Alonzo's name. I think we did determine that I'm allowed to say his name. Alonzo If I'm not, I apologize.
Yeah.
But he said no karaoke for Joe in Boston. He was all in on Bad Bunny, though. I was dancing to Bad Bunny, man, at the bar. The whole bar was popping when Bad Bunny came on. I was dancing to Bad Bunny. But I like Bad Bunny. I listen to Bad Bunny sometimes. I put Bad Bunny on if I'm looking for a different vibe. If he comes on and I'm out at a bar, I'm getting juiced up. I don't like dancing at bars. He's the only guy that I will dance for gladly.
This is okay.
My bet was hitting too when we were there, so I was also really excited.
Okay.
The Seahawks looked really good.
What? All right. I enjoy the musical stylings of Bad Bunny as well. I'm not a Bad Bunny hater.
You got nothing else to say?
People may think, looking at me, that I had some things to say on Facebook about him performing at the Super Bowl, but I did not. All right. So
we know you're listening to Kid Rock.
That's crazy. I was not tuning into the Kid Rock altcast. Did you see that? Get a truck and drink a beer and just fish my fish guy. I'm like, this is an insane.
It looked awfully bad vibes out of the Kid Rock one. That Bad Bunny was an awesome performance. His performance was
there.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. It was an awesome performance. It was really, really cool. And then also his music lineup was great. The appearances that happened during it. We're not here to talk about that.
Sure. You just wanted to announce to everybody that you were dancing to Bad Bunny.
Well, I had to pull up Alonzo's comment that he threw in here. Let's move on over to the NBA. NBA picks up action back up on Thursday after the All-Star break. My first pick that I like for the NBA for Thursday, I'm going to go Celtics -2.5 against the Warriors. Celtics are a covering wagon right now. I really think that the Celtics team has outperformed everybody's expectations. They're 31-22-1 against the spread this season. They've also won 6 of their last 7. Warriors, on the other hand, are in a 3-game streak of not covering. Warriors have just been super disappointing, and it appears that Jimmy Butler is likely out. One last bit that gets me excited about this game. The Celtics are 20-10 against the spread after they covered in their last game. So I think that there is just unbelievable potential for this one. Close line, easy opportunity for them to get a win here against the Warriors.
2 things. One, bet against the Warriors. I will happily do that after they had their transgressions with Jonathan Kuminga and his buddy eating too many sandwiches in the green room. Warriors
family that was
whoever. Just what, that
was a weird
terrible situation there. You're an NBA franchise. Your players' friends can have sandwiches and their family can have sandwiches. All right.
Well, I'm picturing that for that to have been a drawn complaint. I'm picturing that like he brought in 20 people and they just all brought to-go containers.
Great.
And
where's it going?
To max that out.
It ain't going to the fans.
That's a good point.
I put it in your pockets. Eat it courtside. I don't care. You are going to do that. This is an NBA team. You're paying 15 guys and 10 coaches.
You know what? Who's sandwich watching like that?
Yeah,
that's actually a really good point.
It's really a scummy thing to do.
To point that out and then to reveal that to an NBA insider, that is so random. That who was tracking that? Who was like, all these sandwiches are gone. Like, it was Kuminga's people. Kuminga brought 20 people in here, and they were the ones who ate all the sandwiches.
Screw the Warriors forever for that, for sandwich watching.
Was it, or do you think there was just like one really big dude that was coming in, and he was just standing in front of? We need more details. This is what pissed me off about reading that story. Was like, what are the real details?
And I'm also like filling.
Was there like a 400-pound dude who was coming in there and just standing in front of the sandwiches?
You could be on in something. I'm also filling in sandwich for whatever food it could have been. I just saw sandwich tweeted about just because I think that's what you serve people that are guests. It's bread and cold cuts. They can have some. All right. I don't know. Also, you've said this phrase a couple times tonight. Covering wagon. Are you doing a play on the covered wagon?
No.
Okay, we might be in the t-shirt business then.
Covering wagon,
covered wagon.
We might be onto something.
Are we onto something?
Is that not? I mean, am I crazy that that's not? Well, I mean, when I like to bet on teams that are consistent. When I'm picking a wagon, it's a team that I can ride.
Love the wagon
term. Keep riding.
Love teams that cover.
You're right. I don't think anyone ever like really explicitly says cover wagon. So
if we could do,
I'm on the cover wagon. I'm on the covering wagon.
Could we license some mascots poking out of the covered wagon, like waving their fingers, like, "Hey, we covered this year."
I'm thinking that we could kind of I think we could go very very classy with it. We could kind of have like a very cool logo of like a horse-drawn carriage.
Well, the covered
wagon.
wagon is one of the coolest like looks ever. Yeah. I'm freestyling.
We could get like a very like luxury style font on it. Something along those lines.
So if we were going to, in the hypothetical,
like a vintage style kind of look to it. We get on the back and the same logos on the chest.
What's the threshold to being a covering wagon? Like at the end of the season, like
if I get a
selective covering wagon shirt, were you like over 75% covered the whole time?
That's too. I'd like to make too high. I would say over 60% would probably be.
I want to make it a tight-knit club here, where if you're like, I guess Stephen F. Austin, for example.
Okay, so Stephen
F. Austin would get a shirt, but then everyone else from their conference wouldn't if they were not meeting that threshold. Like, I think it should be a club, the covering wagon club.
Stephen F. Austin is in their own category of covering. They're covering at 80% right now. They're 20-5 on the season. Sam Houston is at 7. All right, so I'd say over 70%.
Yeah,
would have to be in the covering wagon.
We'll workshop that a little bit.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Oh, thank you.
We got to write that one down. I'm going to write that down.
Okay, you write that down.
What's your pick?
I'll talk about my pick here, my NBA bet, because that's where this conversation started. That is, Jesus, big line. I hate looking at the big line after I put it down. Big line, Cleveland giving 14.5 points to the Brooklyn Nets. 34-win team versus 15-win team. I'd let you blind guess which one has 34 wins and 15 wins, but we all already know that. It would be futile. I watched the Brooklyn Nets put on one of the worst displays of NBA professional basketball versus the Indiana Pacers before the All-Star break. Lazy, fat, slow, sloppy, anything that an NBA team shouldn't be. It's like I was watching a bunch of me's out there with an extra 4 inches. Maybe they lost a little bit of weight. Didn't play like it, though.
Just continue. I'm not going to ask the question.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask I'm refraining. Continue, please. Quickly continue.
You're a little taller.
Okay, you clarified the question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's different.
Continue, please. Before I make an inappropriate comment.
Brooklyn's terrible. Cleveland, surging. Cleveland could be their year. Cleveland also, all these spoiled ass players coming off the All-Star break. James Harden didn't really do much. I'm sure he was just chilling. Back to work, buddy. Time to drop 40. Time to drop 40 on your former team. I know you got a lot of them now, but you like to do it. You want to do a revenge game? Drop 40, big man. I know you can do it. It's not fat suit James Harden anymore. You're lean. You're mean. You're playing in Cleveland. It's time to roll. Cleveland 14.5 versus the terrible, tragic, tanking Nets.
All right. Those are our 2 NBA picks. I've got no problem with that. Betting against the Nets is always a quite sound strategy. Moving on over to the Genesis Invitational over at wonderful Riviera in Los Angeles. One of my favorite events that I've had the chance to go to because it's in a really cool location. It is in just a really nice, well put together course. I would like to go to some more golf events this year. U.S. Open's at Shinnecock, so maybe we make that trip this year.
Where's Shinnecock?
Long Island. It's gonna be an awful drive, but it would be worth it. It's not very far. Besides the point, here are our picks for the Genesis Invitational. We're each going to deliver 2 guys, top 20 finishes, 1 favorite who's got strong odds, 1 long shot who's got weaker odds, plus 200 or longer. My favorite pick that I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama. He is hot right now at minus 125 to be a top 20 finisher. In his recent finishes, Matsuyama is like the perfect guy to grab just to fit into that top 20 bucket because talk about a covering wagon. He's a top 20 finish wagon for just sticking in that range of being a top 20 finisher. Doesn't necessarily end up coming in a position to win, but is always going to be in that upper category of the leaderboard. Of his last 4 finishes, tied for 13th, tied for 11th, second, and then also tied for 8th. So there is a easy opportunity here for Matsuyama to end up finishing in that upper area in the top 20.
He's been solid. I remember looking at the screen and seeing Matsuyama all over the leaderboards whenever I watch golf. So I have no issues with that. My first pick before that, this was painful because it's like, I like watching the sport and then giving, a sport that I played, maybe I was decent at, and then I'd be like, okay, I kind of understand what they're doing. Let me turn on the film for the golf. They drive it straight, Joe. They hit their irons straight. I don't do either of those. They can putt, they can chip, they don't duff shots. I don't know how to judge professional golfers when I'm watching them because they all just hit it straight. All right. So now we're just doing numbers. I don't know. This was frustrating, but whatever. Pick one. Chris Gotterup, plus 130 to finish top 20. He's having himself a bit of a year. In his 4 tournaments competed in 2026, finished first twice, 18th and 37th. 37th being the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I'm not counting it. These guys are out there messing around, having fun at Pebble Beach, as they should. They're great golfers. They deserve a better life than all of us because of how torturous that game is and that sport is. If you can conquer it, you get to do whatever the hell you want at Pebble Beach. Dick around and place 37th, and my next guy placed even lower. I hope he was drunk. This is my play, though. Chris Gotterup, plus 130. Huge win at the Waste Management. Just play in a normal tournament, finish top 20. I think he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. And you're getting a guy at plus 130 odds. You're right. He has been hot to start the year. Here's the way that I kind of look at it when I bet on golfing. I started to get a lot more into it last year. I like to look at 2 things. Is one, I am not in the realm of going to be able to understand the strokes gained and all the advanced metrics for driving, for chipping, for putting, all those things. I'd love to learn it and I intend to learn a little bit more about it, but it's a little bit too complex for my own degree. So I try to just pay close attention to who's hot right now and also who has a history of success at specific courses for specific events, because a lot of times certain guys' skill sets fit specific courses. It's why you do hear numbers being brought up for guys that do specific things well. Like if you know that a certain course, the greens are really tough for the Masters, the guys that are good putters, those are the ones that you want to pay attention to. If you've got a lot of opportunities for those long ball drivers to just completely rip it, that is where you might look to somebody who's got a lot more driving impact when they play. We're also not going to, by the way, I'm glad that neither of us tried to do the Scott. Like, I'm glad that you didn't just come here and just say Scotty Scheffler, because I would have gotten mad at you.
Well, he was also like minus 900 or something to finish top 20.
Yeah.
So are you saying
no creativity to do that.
Are you saying I just haven't found my course yet? Is that why I'm so terribly?
No, you suck. You suck. So that's a completely different issue.
Smoked you all over the course last year. That should never happen. That's
not true.
Spanked you up and down that
You
course.
And I had very similar. We also were playing one of the worst, god-awful dog track local courses. We got to go to a better course. But no, that's not.
I would hate to beat you at a better course. I'd hate to see that.
You and I were both playing.
I don't like beating the guy that drives. It's not a good feeling.
You and I were both playing at the same level. You won some of the rounds. I won some of the rounds. It was about the same level. I played a little bit more golf than you did last year. It wasn't significant.
I actually think you played way more golf than I did last year. You were golfing during the week. You were doing.
No, I was going to play. I would play like 9 holes on a Friday every so often.
Would you pick up clubs between Monday and Thursday?
Yeah, I was doing that.
My clubs remained untouched until it was time to go.
I'm going to disregard my long shot pick that I like. I'm going to take Max Homa plus 240. Homa, for me, the reason why I latched onto him, he has historically done really well. Be a California guy at Riviera. He has finished quite high in a lot of the final leaderboards at Riviera for the Genesis. 2023 he finished in second. 2022 he finished in 10th. 2021 he finished in first. I think that his track record, and I even actually got to see him in person, to see him at one of the years where I believe it was 2023 when he finished in second. I got to see him on that Sunday when he performed very, very well. I think that there is enough of a track record for him at this specific course for him to finish top 20. Makes perfect sense. Man, we got the full scope of Sports Geek guys.
I saw
Phil's in here. Phil, if you got a Genesis pick, let us know if you've got one. I don't know if he tracks golf as.
Bring it on, the beast. Is he going by Phil the Beast?
I believe that's his handle. Yeah.
I did not know he was going by the Beast.
If you want to get smoked in poker, by the way, play against.
Does he want to get beasted in poker? I'll be.
Oh no! You don't understand. He's a poker influencer. There's no like way around that. He would absolutely dog your ass.
He would not. I'm a river rat. I'd pick him up on the river. I'd pick him up on the river, and he would be distraught.
He's going with Scotty.
Fine.
I think that we need to organize a sports geek influencer content creator poker game. Then
you want to see Phil meltdown? You want to see Phil?
No, I want to see you get worked up and down the court. That's what I want to see.
How would I get worked?
You're gonna get worked. We've got the Devon poker room. We could play in it one time.
There's 2 rules to poker, Joe. Knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them. If you can do those 2 things,
then you know when to walk away.
Yeah. You could beat anybody, and I could take down the beast.
On Saturday, I played poker with my buddy when I was visiting him in Florida with him and his roommates. And one of my buddies, the other friend that was there, he was out really quickly, and he left and got in his car. And immediately after he left, he started playing that song. The friend who he did it unintentionally. And I'm like, that should be a recurring bit. So as soon as somebody's out and they leave, that needs to be the song that's played.
It sucks that there's only one recognized poker song. He thinks I'm joking around. Phil the Beast thinks I'm joking around with him. Let's play super high stakes. You would hate to lose your ass to this big dummy.
All right, get back on track. Get back on track here before we get the last golf pick. Long shot.
3 2s in my hand. Freak out. My final pick here. Sahith Theegala plus 290 to finish top 20 this year. Doing pretty good. 5 tournaments. He's finished 31st. That doesn't crack it. 8th, 7th, 18th, and 60th. That's 60. Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Do I care about the Pebble Beach Pro-Am? How you finish there? I do not. I hope he was having a good time. I hope he was high-fiving celebs. He was dicking around, having his little all-star game. Now he's coming back. Theegala with a revenge. I'm excited for him. He's doing okay this year. He's cracked the top 20. Let me see a trend of you cracking top 20 in tournaments that matter. He can do it.
That's going to do it for us on today's show. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're going to be back on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to definitely be in more of a consistent rhythm, minus next Thursday when I'm at the end. No, we'll probably go live at the usual time next Thursday while I'm at the NFL Combine. But Tuesday we're also going to have to go with the. Well, okay, wait.
We got to figure out next week.
Yeah, these are off.
I'm also going to be out of office next Thursday.
Off show discussions. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.